Welcome out there on the internet. In these days of uncertainty, when we may wonder what will happen, when will it happen, and how will it happen, and we do not always trust our own ability to handle the circumstances, which are often larger than we are, or we may feel they are beyond our ability to cope with them, what should we do? I think almost every day of my life now, in the last 7 years anyway, I've quoted Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Now that's a quote from the King James. That's the only place I've ever really memorized anything, but I'm going to turn to my ESV. But I asked the question, trust. What is trust? Well, it's a firm confidence, a belief that the object of one's trust is reliable and able to keep, to do, to take care of all that I've entrusted to that person. It may be a fellow human being, or as this verse says, trust in the Lord, Yahweh, Jehovah. Those are terms. That's one of the primary names of God in the Old Testament, one of the three. And so I'm to have a confidence, a belief in God that he is worthy of. I can trust in myself, I can trust in people, and there are many people that are reliable, but not all of them. And I'm not always reliable. I've proved that over and over. But our trust is in God, whom the Bible calls faithful. I've written down several, Deuteronomy 7:9, Psalm 89, verses 1 and 2, Isaiah 49:7, and there's others. But God is faithful, who will not suffer, who will not allow you to be tested or tempted, the King James says, but tested above that which you're able. And so we have a firm confidence in God, who is faithful, and we're to trust him with all our heart. The heart represents the inner person, summing up all that I am. I sometimes think of personality as mind, emotion, and will. That's what constitutes what we are on the inside. We have a mind, we can think, we have understanding, but we also have emotion. We love, we hate, we have desires, but we have a will also. Or, as I remember a pastor many years ago, and I was present when he was speaking to this lady, she said she had strong willpower. And he said, no, you have strong won't power. And that was true. That was true. I think the lady's dead now, so she can't come back to haunt me. But in the inner person, we're to trust God with all that we are. The heart is the seat of feeling and affection. The heart is the seat of the intellect, and also that will that I talked about. I am to trust God totally and completely in all my ways. In all my ways. You know what all means? All. All means all. That's all means. That's all means. Everything that our life consists of. And we are to acknowledge him. We are to acknowledge him. The Hebrew word is to know, but that includes the idea of acknowledge. I looked up in the English dictionary, and that kind of suggests to admit to be true or stated, to recognize the authority or the claims of whatever it is we're addressing. And so we are to acknowledge God. We're to know him. We're to know that he's true and that he's able. And if he is able, what is he able to do? Well, we read here, I'll find it, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall make straight your paths. Straight, yasher, to be made right, to be made right. We are to seek him, trust him, that he can make the path we're walking straight, even in troublesome times. In good times, that's easier then. But in troublesome times, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. And I know one thing that means is in Psalm 23:3, he leads me in paths of righteousness. It'll be righteous ways. It'll be right ways, right in the sight of God. And that's what we need in good times or times of trouble. May God help us to do that.